Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. I'm going to do a review of the 2020 Toyota Highlander from an owner's perspective. Now, again, I just am not a professional reviewer here, so I'm going to do my best, but I can tell you as somebody that just traded in a 2017 Highlander Limited, I can give you an idea of what I like and I don't like about this new one versus the previous model. For full disclosure, I am a Toyota lover. This is probably my 12th or 13th Toyota, so I do like them. Now, this is the Platinum trim. There are some differences on Platinum versus all other trims, and I'll try to go over those as best I can. But if you want a more in-depth review, I am not the person for you. I'm giving you just my opinion and doing it quickly. Platinum does get this colored insert here. It's silver colored front and rear that no other trim gets. Don't ask me why, but there you go. Full LED headlights on all trims. The Platinum and possibly the Limited, I'm not sure, check your manual, does have moving headlights. When you take a sharp turn, they will move. I like that. Pretty interesting. LED fog lights. I do believe the turn signal lights are still halogen or incandescent. I don't know what they use, so not LED. Every trim level does have its own wheel and tire package. These are 20-inch wheels on the Platinum. Pretty nice looking. I think they are pretty sharp. They have moved the mirror pod down onto the door. It used to be up in this area, and I guess that's done for fuel economy purposes. There is a camera and a light in the mirror. We'll get to that here shortly. It does open and lock with your hand as long as you have the key in your pocket, pretty much like anything any other vehicle does anymore, so nothing special there. The old model did that as well. Coming to the rear of the vehicle, some things I like and dislike. Number one, the previous model had a little button right here, right in this area where you could push and this glass would open. That is gone now. You cannot open the glass independently of the liftgate, which is a bummer. I missed that. Should have kept that, but it is a more swept and aerodynamic back of the vehicle, so that's probably why. It's supposed to have foot actuated opening. I never can get it to open. I don't know if there's some trick to it, but it doesn't work. That's a real bummer to me, but whatever, who cares? I will say that the liftgate opens substantially faster than the previous model, and it closes much faster than the previous model. That's a big plus. Now, the third row apparently has more leg room than the previous version. We never used the third row before, and we don't plan on using it now, so I can't really speak to that. I do know the vehicle is about 2 inches longer than the previous model. These seats do go down with one touch of a hand, and they're down. I like that. Plenty of cargo space back here. That's a big plus to me, so we keep those down pretty much all the time. And again, this goes down much faster than the old one. LED taillights, which is great. Coming on around, the second row in the Platinum has captain's chairs only. I do believe you can get benches in all other trims except for the Platinum, but I do prefer the captain's chairs because we only have 2 kids. They do have their own independent climate controls, which was a feature before. They do have heated rear seats in this trim level only, which was also a feature before. Pretty easy to get to the third row. Pull this up. These are sliding captain's chairs, which is nice. I know something like the 4Runner does not have sliding second row, which is annoying, and why we haven't owned a 4Runner for about 5 years. Let's see, what else? There's 2 charging plugs back here for USB. Again, heated seats back here. I like the second row, really sells it for us, and I love this panoramic roof. I think that's a great feature in this trim level, and again, another reason why we opted for the Platinum. Coming up here into the the passenger's front seat, you know, I like the styling here, and we'll get to more of that in a few moments, but this is called the caramel interior, which we really liked. Then you kind of have this faux carbon fiber look. Then you have this stitched, and I don't believe this is actual stitching, but stitched leather something, I don't know. Three different colors here, and then you've got kind of a wood grain on the doors, and you've got wood grain here in the center console. There's all kinds of different colors working here, and I really like it. So, you know, it's just much different than the previous model, and we'll get to that screen here in a moment, but really like the styling. There is no lumbar support for the passenger, which is an interesting omission. Now we'll get into the vehicle and go over some things. Drivetrain remains exactly the same as the previous version with the 3.5 liter V6. That is available in all trims, in all levels, except for the hybrid, which I'm not going to get into because I know nothing about hybrids and don't plan on learning anytime soon. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and there is a ton of new tech in this version versus the old. So you can see here, 12.3 inch screen. It is absolutely massive. It's a fingerprint trap, which is really annoying, but it's totally customizable. You can swap things around. You can look at all kinds of different features and things here. You know, it does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Don't really use either one yet, so we'll get to that some other day maybe, but really like all the different options. One thing I found really cool, it has this radio replay. So after the car's been running for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you can actually, any station you change to, at least on Sirius, goes to the very beginning of every song. I think that's awesome. Don't ask me why I think it's so cool, but you never miss the beginning of any song if you're on that radio replay. I think that's neat. Okay, a few more features. Heated steering wheel, not an option before. Automatic wipers, I do not believe that was an option before. Heated wipers, I don't believe that was an option before. I'll get to some of the other tech here in a minute, but automatic headlights. Now, if you owned this car before, the auto headlights sucked. They never worked right. They were constantly flashing bright and low beams. Drove me nuts. I never wanted to use them. So these are much improved. We drove last night in the dark, and I thought it was way better than it was before. The screen is pretty nice, bigger, you know, still has the analog gauges on either side. And you can see there 25.1, so I misspoke a little bit, but still pretty good fuel economy over the old one. All kinds of different features you can change. Now you'll see here, projected on my garage door, there is the HUD. That is available in this trim only, and it is quite nice. I do really like that. It does have this neat mirror here that goes to a camera. I think that's pretty cool. I know that may be on other cars, but I think it's awesome. Again, heated, ventilated front seats only on this particular trim and the limited trim. This screen is available in the limited trim as well. It's an upgrade that you're going to have to pay extra for. One other thing I wanted to mention real quick, the lane departure setting on the previous model was horrendous. It didn't work. All it did was beeped at me. Could not stand that particular feature, and I did not use it hardly ever. This now functions more like an autopilot. If you're used to, say, some of these more luxury branded vehicles, I really was hands off the wheel or lightly touching the wheel, and the vehicle just more or less drives itself when you're in cruise control. Much improved over the previous model. Really like that. The active radar works fine. Now, I did get some snow on it yesterday, and it shut off, which is kind of annoying because the radar in this vehicle is in the front end, right in the front of the vehicle, as opposed to up here into the mirror pod that some others are using. It does have 360 camera, so if I put this in reverse, you're going to see two different views. You've got a 360 bird's eye view, and then this rear view, which is enormous. You can customize this and change some things there. But again, really like that 360 bird's eye view, which as far as I know was not available in the previous generation. Just dropped my phone there, excuse me. One thing here, again, there's some alternate modes that were not available before. So there was always the snow mode. You could turn your traction control off, downhill. You can turn off the start-stop feature there. That's all great. This has a rock and dirt mode, a mud and sand mode. You've got some different driving modes here. That was available before, but you had to do it through menus on the screen up here. Now there's just a button for it. I like that there's still an actual shifter here, as opposed to some of these dials and things that we've seen in other vehicles. There are 2 charging ports here, and then you've got your wireless charging there, which is quite nice. This is a pretty deep pocket here that my wife's already filled up. Okay, so overall, real quick, I like almost every single thing that Toyota has done to this vehicle as opposed to the previous generation, other than maybe the back glass that doesn't open and a couple other really minor things. I think they've hit a home run with this Highlander this year. So again, this is my opinion. I spent my hard-earned money on it. I'm not paid to do reviews. I never have been. So take it for what it's worth. This is my true thoughts here. So we'll see you next time. Keith from Trigger Happy. Have a good day.